Prof Appiagyei Atua, why should we be concerned that Ofori Atta may fight this? Should it not be a natural expectation that he has events, an intention not to come back to this country, and on that basis, he will definitely fight his extradition?
Thank you, Samson. I think that question, the point that the Attorney General talked about, the top-notch lawyer issue, I've also been, asking myself, why would he raise such a question or point? Probably because he wants to program our minds to accept the fact that it's going to be a long-drawn battle to be able to bring Ofori Atta back to Ghana.
Oh, it's fruitless.
Yes, that's the point, that it could be fruitless at the end of the day. So the question as to why we should be concerned about that, I think the Attorney General is in a better place to answer that, because the whole thing is about the procedures and the processes that we need to follow. And according to our Extradition Act, we have the procedure to follow, and the procedure is that we put our package together and submit it to the Office of the Department of Justice in the U.S., and then the case goes to a court. And so we have done that. There have been some back and forth, and some few gaps which we identified have been patched. So I think that if we have a solid case, we should not be worried about whether who is a top-notch lawyer or not is going to handle the case. At the end of the day, we should hope that we'll make a good case, and Ofori Atta will be brought back to the jurisdiction to face trial. I'm not sure we should be worried about, or Ken himself should be worried about whether issues about torture and so on. But the political question may become necessary, or may be a point that he can use to his advantage in a way, because already we know that with the Interpol situation, they managed to, it's kind of influenced the decision to do the reduction. So that may be something that may be a little bit of concern for the Attorney General with regard to the statement that he might have made. Now, the point that we also need to note is, or the question that I've also been asking myself is, going to court may not be the only way to handle this matter. There are also situations where you can go through diplomatic channels. And so that, and it looks like that is that is the approach that the U.S. did with respect to the recent extraditions done against some Ghanaian citizens to be sent to the U.S. But Ghana has also done that before, at least in the case of the Benin case between Ghana and Switzerland. So I don't know if something is being done in the background with regard to that. And if not, why not? Because that doesn't violate any particular procedures or rules. It is something that is done when we are talking about extradition.
You talk about the political questioning and some back and forth that has happened. We understand, and I got to know Ofori Atta hiring lawyers top-notch, top-notch long ago, because some foreign, persons wanted to speak to me, and I got to know about even the backgrounds of some of these lawyers about 2-3 weeks ago. The reduction that you have spoken about, even about the red notice and all, the suggestion is that, in November, there was a development that the confidential memoranda and related documents connected to the extradition process were leaked to bloggers, and that became, widely discussed in the media. And then you had the Attorney General and the Deputy also making complaints, all in the public and speaking to the public. I gathered that part of this commentary is what Ofori Atta is using strongly to support his case that it's a political persecution that is going on. Going forward, what would you say? How should we handle this so that we don't get into discussions that our opponents use against us?
Yeah, you're right on that point. That's why I'm saying that. I was saying that the likelihood of political persecution, he can use that argument, and it's not necessary to say that he may face that if he comes to Ghana. And the basis for this argument that he can make is founded on the tension or the differences between the OSP and the AG's office. And I think that there should be more cooperation between the two offices. And then I think we can look at the recent development with regard to taking the OSP out of office, or even completely abolishing the office, and so on, as all part of the tension between the AG's office and the OSP. And I don't think it bodes well at all for our criminal justice system, especially in fighting corruption. So I think going forward, what needs to be done is for clear coordination and cooperation between the two offices. I don't know what should be the basis for any tension between the two. Probably because the OSP was appointed by a different regime, and there's a fear that there's some kind of bias against Ofori Atta. That could be one reason, but we don't have any material evidence to support that. And we also know that the OSP is trying hard to acquit the office of the responsibilities that has been assigned to it. So definitely cooperation is needed. Okay. There is a suspicion that the AG is trying to undermine the office of the special prosecutor, and that should also not be something that we should see flying around. Are
you concerned that Ofori Atta wants to wait to be brought to the country through this process?
I'm not sure Ofori Atta wants to be brought to Ghana through this process. And I have the suspicion that he may not want to come to Ghana at all to face trial. And so that is why at a point it also makes me think if this whole process that we are going to go through, whether it is worth doing that. Of course, we have to try it. But I'm also thinking that we have to look at the diplomatic process as well. And whether we should also go back to the question of trial in absentia. So I've been asking these questions to myself, and I think that we need to make a decision at a point if we really want to continue with this process through the court system in the US, or look at the diplomatic channels, or even if you want to abandon the process and go through the trial in absentia, which, of course, the Constitution also allows us to go through.
As for the trial, it has started.
Sorry?
As for the trial, it has started, right?
Oh, yeah, the one in the US, yes.
No, I'm talking about here in Ghana. The trial in absentia you are talking about. I'm saying as for that, it has started, because there are charges already against Ofori Atta and his chef, the Cabernet, Ernest Daku Akori.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yes.
Right.
Thank you for bringing my mind to that. Yeah, so in that sense, excuse me, what they are trying to do, Attorney General is trying to do, is to bring him to give evidence and to for all the other processes to come into play. Yeah, but he can still be tried, even if the extradition process does not go through, and which will be a full-scale trial in absentia, because there could be the partial one where it may be started without him, but at a point he can be brought in to continue that trial. But
Okay.
where it's completely impossible for him to come, the trial can still go ahead.
Okay. Yes, Kofi.